Hello everybody, today we're going to go over the Khador Battle Group Box. This is one of the Battle Group boxes that was available at Lock and Load and should be available in your stores on June 29th. So without further ado, we'll go ahead and open the plastic wrap and get started on this. So with the Khador Battle Box, basically what we come with is we have the new Decimator. We have the Juggernaut, which is a tried and true. This is a jack that was in the old Battle Box. So we're still only carrying the two heavies from Khador, and that's because there are no lights, so we're only going to have the two heavies. But then we get the new Battle Box caster, Lord Kozlov, Viscount of Skarsgård. With all the new Battle Boxes, the box actually has the open top lid, so basically you just lift it up to get into the box, and that actually allows you to be able to use it to potentially carry things. So if you're a brand new person to the game, then you're going to have the box as a way of carrying around your product until you can get something else to carry it with. Because this is a War Machine Battle Box, it comes with the new War Machine Prime, and this is the mini rulebook. We have the paper measuring tape, and this is so that you have the ability to play the game immediately. You don't need to go out buy a measuring tape if you didn't have one already. Then you have this paper measuring tape to help you. It goes all the way up to 18. We have a sort of getting to know Khador. So this is a little guide, and we'll go over that in a little bit. We get a playmat, a basics training. We have our token set, our heavy jacks, the two heavy jacks, some dice, our brand new caster, Kozlov, and then the cards. So in our battle box, we have the Khador basically start box, getting to know this introductory guide to Khador. And this gives us a little bit of information about the faction. It comes with a short story to kind of give a taste of what the flair and the style is for Khador. And it goes over the escapades of Kozlov. And then it has some more information, basically kind of going over the battle group tactics, how you can kind of expect to play with these new things, some options for increasing your battle group, growing your force, some generic art, and then we step into some of the how to put together. So if you've never actually put together a privateer press model before, here's some quick cleanup guides and stuff like that. More information about some of the tactics, goes over some of the painting, gives you a couple paint schemes so that if you've never painted the Khador red or red in general, it even gives you a coloring guide using the P3 paints. So there's a lot of value into this for a new person to get an idea of how they could go about painting the Studio Khador, and that comes in the introductory guide. Also with the box, we get a playmat, and then this is basically a 2x2 playmat that you have available to you, so that if you are brand new to the game, don't have a playmat, don't have a friend who has a playmat, you have something that you can put down and you can play with. The mat is double-sided. It comes with one side that has, well, this one has a hill and has what looks like to be a wall of some kind, an obstruction. So this is one style of mat. There is another style of mat that comes in the Hordes box that has a forest and a crater to it. On the other side, you'll see that the mat has these like letters and numbers on them, and this is what you can use in the basic training guide to kind of explain some of the interactions of the rules that are available. So this is your ability to, with certain positionings, teach yourself some of the interactions of the game. And that references to the basic training guide, which is another sort of instructional guide or manual. This is basically going over legitimately the basics of the game. Again, it's going to share you information, or it's going to share you your AoE template. You've got a flame template if you need it, and then you've got some proxy tokens so that if you're playing somebody who doesn't have the battle box, then you have these proxy tokens available to you that they can play with, so that you do have somebody you can play with. They use these, and then you use your new models, and then you have a wall template that you can use for more terrain. This kind of goes over some of the basics of what is a card and how to use it if you've never seen a Warmachine card before. And then we start stepping into some of the lessons that are being taught, such as how to do movements, how to basically move when terrain's involved. And again, these are kind of going over those steps of, well, what if I'm here in the woods, what do I do? How do I get out of the woods? How does that work? Ranged combat, concealment and cover, the melee combat system and how to work in the melee, the chargings, how chargings work, some of the how to spend focus and boosting. That's a pretty big piece of Warmachine and Hordes. Warjacks, the big key part of Warmachine, spellcasting in general, and then it provides you some generic cards for your opponent. Again, these are cards that you can use. I'm sorry, those aren't the cards. That's kind of going over some of the information. These are your cards, and these are generic cards for a generic Warcaster and generic Jack, so that you can play in a proxy game using those tokens that you found on page 1, so that you use your models, and if your friend is interested in getting to Warmachine, you can provide him the tokens, and then they can learn how the game works and the mechanics of the games, and not have to put any sort of capital towards the game before they've decided if they're interested or not. So that is the basics training. This teaches you just the core rules of the game. It does not go into all of the details of the game. There's a lot of little tricks and things that you can do in the game that really kind of take it to that advanced level. So this just gets you started. Now when we jump into Prime, this is actually where you're going to get the full rulebook. This is the entire rulebook. They've produced it into a small rulebook format, and this will allow you to go in and actually learn all of the rules. There isn't a single rule in Warmachine that is not covered in this rulebook, so it gives you the ability to learn it front to back, left to right, and know exactly what is going on and what you need to do in order to learn the game of Warmachine. It also comes with, near the tail end, it crosses over into the Hordes game and discusses some of the Hordes mechanics and how Hordes work. There is a slight difference in how Hordes mechanics works in comparison to Warmachine mechanics, and it's covered in this book as well. So even though Hordes has a slight separate rule set, you're not forced to go out and get a Hordes book. They're covered in here as well. So this is the only book that you necessarily need from the rules perspective. Now there is no lore or story in here. There is story in the introductory book of Khador. So there is no lore in this book. This is pure rules. They have a hardbound book that actually covers both the rules and the lore if you're interested in that. So also coming in there, obviously we've got the dice. They provide you 4 dice, so you basically have your 2 standard. You get 1 for charging. You get a 4th one if you're a charging weapons master, or maybe you're rolling 2 dice and then you roll a separate dice for a column when you're damaging a Jack or War Beast, or maybe it's charging and you're rolling 3. So basically, this is kind of the generic set that you need. A lot of people would actually say that you probably need 6 dice to cover any sort of occasion, and that is 5 dice for potential damage and then a different colored dice for column. So that's the only thing about this set, is that they're all one color. So if you want to roll columns for Jacks or War Beasts, you're going to have to roll them separately of the damage dice. Also coming in our battle box, we have the cards, and these are the new Mark cards, or the new Prime and Primal cards for Warmachine, and this will cover anything that you have. So we have our new caster. So we have Commander Kozlov, and we get his abilities on the back for his sidestep. We have his feet guard for his feet, and then his spell card. You'll note in the upper right hand corner that there is a little sort of versioning number to these cards. This will allow you to know if there's a new errata, and they have given new errata cards, which card is the new card and which one's not, based upon this versioning tag right here. You have your Juggernaut. Juggernaut becoming the gold standard for Jacks. A lot of people are basically saying this is the Jack that all Jacks are compared to. So this becomes the new gold standard for jacks, and it's card available with its 12-point jack. And then the last is your ranged jack in the battle box with Decimator, with its sustained attack saw blade and its knockback or beat back gun that it has. So you have a melee jack and you have a shooting jack with melee potential in the battle box as well. And then, as with all the card sets that are coming in the battle box, you have this sort of 3D wall, and it gives you instructions on how you're going to convert this into an actual wall template. So not only do you have the cutout wall in your basics training guide, but you also have this 3D wall as well to be putting down on your mat. All right, so we're going to look into the token set. This is a token set that comes with all of the new battle boxes. This one comes with the 3 spell tokens. So these are the ability for you to write down any spell effects that you have. For Kozlov, he's got Fury, so you could write Fury on here. He also has Tactical Supremacy, so that would be something else that you could write down on here in order to keep track of your tokens. And then the token set comes with a total of, let's see, we've got 10, nope, 9, 10 maybe, nope, I must have lost one. There should be 10 tokens in the set. I must have already lost one, so that's unfortunate. Might have been a mispack, who knows. But basically what you end up running into, even with these 9, I'm relatively fine because I'm going to have the 6 that I will be putting onto Kozlov at the start of every turn, 1 for the Decimator for his power-up, 1 for the Juggernaut's power-up, and then a spare token. So in actuality, I only need 8 for this battle box, but I have a spare token where I need it. So let's look into the jacks that we have. So these are the 2 jacks. Now, one of the things that I have seen a lot of people say is that they think that the quality of these kits is less than the original quality. I have to tend to disagree with you. The quality of this material is on par and exactly the same as the material that was used in the prior battle group kits. I have experience with the prior Juggernaut chassis out of the old battle box that had Sorsha in it. And I can tell you that this is basically down to even where the pour points are. This is basically the same as the other one. The material is just as rigid. There's no give on this. There's no wiggle or anything like that. These are solid pieces of plastic, and they're relatively easy to construct. That's one of the things that I actually like about it from a perspective of a battle box. These are not complicated kits that you need instruction guides to figure out. With a little bit of time and a little bit of focus, you can easily just figure out where pieces go and put them together. They've got slot grooves on most of the pieces, so it's really easy to figure out where things go. So we've got the Juggernaut's axe. Gotta love the Juggernaut's axe with its crit freeze. So for the most part, the kits, and you can actually see here, the bodies themselves, the chassis are identical. I mean, so when it comes down to both the bodies and the legs and everything else, the jacks are the same. It's only when you get into the actual jacks or the actual arms for these jacks that you start entering into a place where you have to kind of figure out where things go. So we've got an arm here that goes with the fist, so that we have the fist for the Kato jack. The Decimator just has a single gun with a shoulder joint. You'll note that there's a slight groove right here for this gun, and when you look into the shoulder piece for all of these jacks, you'll note that there is a groove in here. So you immediately can recognize, this is the direction it goes, this is the way it's supposed to face, and they basically kind of become this ball and socket for the gun. Same thing to go for the saw bit. Again, one piece, and it has its little slot right here, so you know which side it goes on. And for the most part, these kits are really good. I really actually enjoy these kits. One of the things that I do like about this kit is that we have the Juggernaut, which is a carryover from the last. But with as cheap as Juggernauts are, you're gonna get you're gonna get a lot of value out of it because you're gonna have more than one. So if you already had a Juggernaut from your prior battle box, another one won't hurt. However, as it relates to the Decimator, a lot of people didn't pick up the Decimator back in Mark II. So a lot of people could actually benefit from having the Decimator. Maybe they didn't have one before, and now that with the new kits, they will be able to get this new Decimator and have it available to them. So from a perspective of point value, you've got a $40 starter box that comes with 2 jacks and a caster for $40. If you were to go out and pick out a Juggernaut kit, that kit would cost you $35. So you're talking a difference of $5 to get another jack. So you get 2 jacks and a caster and the battle box with the dice and everything else for $5 more. This is basically price pointed to get people into the game. It allows you to get into the game quickly and easily. And then you've got the 2 heads. They put these in little plastic bags because they're so small. But this allows you to get in the game quickly and easily and for a really good price point. So setting all of that off to the side, we will jump into the caster, the man of the hour, Lord Kozlov. So even from the perspective of a caster, he's really easy to put together. So you have his cape. So you've got that very Iron Fang-y feeling cape, and that's because he is part of the Iron Fangs. With his axe. So right here he has a very kind of Great Bears look and feel to him. So he's got his axe coming across, and that is an arm slot. So you basically just slot him in here. You'll notice that there's a curve on the back of it where the cape is going to meet up with the pack that he has. So that basically goes in right there. You have a second arm joint that goes into the second slot, and then this allows you a little bit of posability. You can have it pointing straight down like it was in the book. Maybe you have it up and he's calling out or something like that. And then you have his head, which just goes into the ball slot on the top and sits right in there. So he's 4 pieces to put together this new caster, and he even has the little slot for the base that you can get with, so that you can just slot him in right into that slot. A really easy caster to put together. So we've got high quality caster, high quality jacks, a jack that a lot of people may not necessarily have, new rules, new book, everything that you basically want. They're high quality, they're good, they're available. The only 2 cons that I would necessarily give to this probably would be the fact that this is the only way that you're going to get Lord Kozlov is through this battle box. But again, you're basically getting him for dirt cheap. But you can only get him from this battle box at this point. And also the only other critique I might necessarily give is the fact that the Khador color is the same red that they use in the Scorn color. All the other factions get a different color available to them. The only 2 that were carried over was Khador and Scorn are both this kind of reddish, neonish red color. So, and that, I mean, really honestly, if that's your only critique, then I consider this a huge sell for Privateer Press. They've done an amazing job with their products, and I applaud them for this battle box. It really sells out well. So with that, that's the end of the Khador battle box review, and you can follow other videos to either the Trollbloods battle box review or a battle report that we're going to do between this Khador battle box and the Trollblood battle box.